Hi, this is Janos, Real Audio, and we are continuing uh, chasing for full-range drivers for the Hiraga Le Petit cabinet build. And last time we had a look at the Mark Audio driver, which should be an excellent choice for this cabinet and would be a really good candidate if you have a high power amplifier, especially transistorized amplifier, like a high level solid state amp. If you have that at home, then this would be a very good match for that speaker in a Le Petit at your home if you want to build it. However, for if you have a tube amplifier, especially like a single-ended triode, then because of the lowish efficiency, I would not use it. That's my only beef against it, really. So now let's have a look at it, and it's also a quite pricey driver, which is a really high price tag for a 4-incher, but the exceptional top end really, I would say, justifies that price, and also the super nice mid-range and upper mid-range. So this is not a shouty or anything. It would sound like really easy on the ears. Now let's look at Fostex's. Maybe let's just drop to half the price of the Mark Audio and look at this Fostex FW108HS, and it says full range / woofer. What on earth is this? Yeah, it looks like a woofer, but it's just really miniature, a tiny one. So let's see, what does it deliver for $180 for such a tiny one? 10 centimeter driver, 30 millimeter diameter voice coil. Oh my god, that's a giant for a 4-incher. So basically, most of these have a 20 millimeter diameter voice coil. This has a 30 millimeter diameter. It's huge. So what do I project of that is that we are going to have a limitation in the high frequency, especially that it doesn't have a visor cone. So you might want to use it rather as a maybe a little woofer in your car stereo, but I suspect that based how it's put together, that it will not work well as a full range driver. That I don't expect high frequency extension. Look, and it does says high frequency response only to 15 kilohertz. However, it has aluminum die cast frame. It's a high quality frame, and SPL it says 84.5 dB. It gets thumbs down. Look, oh my god, half a kilo magnet, net weight 1.7 kilograms for this miniature driver. So and self-resonant frequency 65 hertz. So this will be really more like a mid-bassy little woofer. Oh my god, almost 6 Tesla meter field strength, so pretty strong engine. And yet the cats are playing. Efficiency, look at that, 0.2%. So it's basically it's a heater, and it as a byproduct it produces some sound as well, but most of the energy that you are pumping into it will be just wasted as heat, and it is unable to couple the energy to sound pressure. Look, actually this it is really flat, so there's no like sudden up and down peaks. So basically from about 100 hertz on to about 15 kilohertz, you have a very neutral, very benign frequency range. However, the problem is that it starts falling off about 15 kilohertz, and you have this goes, and that's on axis. Off axis, it starts falling off even more. And what we also have is below 500 to 100 hertz, you have this hump there. You see there, that little hump, and that's because this is like a more bass oriented. So it will sound like you'll have a nice mid bass from it if you put it in a Hiraga cabinet. But I would say that you definitively need a super tweeter to supplement the top end if you want that super airy sound. if you don't really wonder about super airiness, and you know that your hearing just goes maybe like 12 kilohertz or 15 kilohertz, then you don't need to worry about it. It will be fine enough for you, and you won't miss a thing. What else? The only thing you will miss is the super low efficiency, so I would definitively recommend it against anyone who uses a tube amplifier. If you have a high power solid state amp, then it's a valid choice. But I would say that the price is quite high, so it doesn't give a thumbs up from me. Let's look for something else. Now these look more promising, still on the pricey range, but let's look at the other Fostex FE108EZ. And one more thing for Fostex is what they publish as TLS small parameters are very close to what you actually get. So unlike many other models, so basically when you try to model something for yourself, when you look at Fostex's data, you can use them with confidence. If you are using something like Beima or Vital or others, then you will get widely different actual TLS small parameters compared to what's in the brochures. And yeah, so let's have a look here for the 108EZ. Still very expensive, I would say, but let's go lower. Oh, wait, let's just have a look at the cone itself. You see it has like a very strange surround, very unusual, and it has, let's just go back here, it has a profile, so the cone is not, the surface is not flat, and you must mount it on the outer surface of the buffer, so you cannot recess it behind the buffer. So it means that if you want this for the Hiraga project, then you have to keep that hump on the inside, that little square thingy in front of your buffer, and you can't get rid of it, because that you will need that for the buffer step correction. For what? When we look at the frequency plot, you see there, like between like 1 kilohertz and 3 kilohertz, there's this hump there, and then there's one there like an octave lower. Those two humps are created because of here, can we see, or maybe here, you see now here, you can see that there's an angle, so the front is angling up, and this thing, there you go, like as the sound is coming out, it's expanding through that horn shape, through the flare of the cone, and then there's the frame itself, and then it will just go back, and the dropping back, that causes a loss in efficiency, in output, and that's why you see that we have like a very strong output at the high frequencies because of the shape of the cone, and then because of the frame, it starts to drop and it comes back. So here, that drop thingy, it can be helped, and it will be helped by that front square piece in the Hiraga cabinet. So this one will work really well with that model and in that application. And also what we find here is that the high frequency is free from like very pronounced valleys and peaks, so it's not going to have like tonal anomalies to it. And here it has like a nice little increase around like 12 to 15 kilohertz, and that little thing there is just very slight but pronounced, and that's what we will hear as like really strong high extension. So when you have like that around 12-13 kilohertz, a few extra dBs, that will come through as something that is not hurting the ear, but we perceive it that the imaging and the energy, the high frequency energy that the instruments are carrying, it's strong and pronounced, and then it will have still, it drops the energy above 15 kilohertz, but it still carries strong output up to 22, 23 kilohertz, something like that. So it's still still super nicely extended. And then how about the impedance? 8 ohm impedance, as you say, responds to 23 kilohertz, just as I said, and it says 90 dB efficiency. Now this gets thumbs up for the output. As you see, they are right on the money. That's the 90 dB line, and that's where it is. And here in this area it drops a little bit below 90, but here it goes above 90. So it's kind of like a straight line with the 500 hertz to 1.5 kilohertz a little lower than that. And you will notice that like drum hits, snare, and things like that, like anything that has impact, it will have a little less impact because of this dip. So when you see this dip, it means that the impact won't be as powerful, but it also means that it will be a little easy on the ears as well, and especially that this region 2 kilohertz through 5 kilohertz, it doesn't have like really sharp peaks, and it means that it won't be painful for your ears, because 2 to 3 kilohertz, 2 to 5, that's the area where our hearing is the most sensitive. So whatever is happening there, it's going to impact a lot. And if this region is much louder than the rest, it will be very tiring, and you will actually notice that the speaker will sound very wimpy, so the bass will be lacking compared to that if this would be much stronger. However, if it's much lower, shallower than the rest, then you will have speech intelligibility problems, and if you turn it lower, then you won't be able to enjoy the music at all, because all you hear is bass and highs, but there's no meat to the music. So basically, based on this, let's see if it's good for the Hiraga project. Voice coil diameter 20 millimeters, 90. Okay, let's look at here the numbers. Staff resonant frequency 77 hertz. Yeah, that's good. 6.8 ohms actual impedance. That checks out. That's good. And QTS 0.3 Q. Yes, that will work. Moving mass 2.7 gram, exactly the same as the one that Hiraga used in his cabinet. 5.2 Tesla meter. Magnetic strength about the same as Hiraga used. Volume VAS is 5.7 liter, about the same. It has a pretty low X max, 0.28 millimeters. That's really tiny. But the one that Hiraga used, that's about has a similar X max, and they reported that they had no problem with volume, and I mean speaker volume. But you can expect that you won't be able to house I mean rock parties with it, but yeah. So basically it will be suitable for the Le Petit, will work very well, and it doesn't have anything that would mark it as a bright or intolerable, so you will be able to listen to this non-fatiguing long hours every day, and it will sound quite similar to what Hiraga's original driver sounded like. And the limitation is that you cannot redesign it in a fashion to have it like mounted behind the baffle, because the cone, I mean the basket frame, does not allow that. And now, before we continue, it's already 40 minutes, so I will stop. And it seems that this driver hunting is becoming a one driver per video adventure, because it just yeah, takes time to explore them. But I promise I will continue, and we will also be hitting drivers down here, and some of them, as you see, there's like cheaper and cheaper drivers. Look, $59, $36. So 27 bloody dollars. Oh my god. So as you will see, we will have drivers which are much cheaper, and we will continue from there on tomorrow, but we have left off right here today. And thank you, please like, subscribe, and if you have questions about the Hiraga build, just fly it away, put it in the comments, and if I know the answer for that and if I can give pointers, I'm more than happy. And I'm really overjoyed that many of you have already expressed desire to build the speaker, and I'm really excited. So thank you. Have an awesome day. Bye bye.